A wise individual once said that communication is the bridge between you and the world. Today, we rely on sharing information more heavily than ever before, and that makes communication a huge part of our lives. Those who are able to master this art reach the very top. They are able to communicate effectively, passionately, and authentically, and find success both personally and professionally. I am with one such distinguished individual right now, a woman whose oration is magnetic, a force to be reckoned with in India's experiential industry, founder of Ministry of Talk Made in India. She is the most respected and awarded live host. She is the preferred name for prestigious events graced by both national and global leaders of state, presidents, prime ministers, and global corporate leadership. You so effortlessly charm them, all your audiences, time and time again, and you have the accolades to show for it. You won countless awards. You were named WOW Live Artist of the Decade by WOW Awards Asia. You had outstanding contribution to the Indian experiential realm by Business World Applause, and many more. You have won Best MC India at many prestigious events and were named Nation Builder by India Today. That's incredible. You're a maven in the truest sense of the word.
Akshan, thank you. Thank you for saying all these wonderful things. It always feels so special to hear someone say all these wonderful things about you. I'm very happy, and I'm truly excited about being a maven. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. But I wanted to know that you were training to be a filmmaker, and how did this journey begin, and how did it go?
I often say this, that I am an accidental anchor. I was training to be a filmmaker. I loved that dream. And in my final year, when we were in my final year, a producer was in the premises of the college. We had some very big studios. They would come in and shoot and all of that. And someone saw me and offered me a television show. And when you're a student, you're like, oh, okay, I'll do a TV show and let's see how this goes. And I went ahead, did it. And once we'd finished that first day of shoot, I had realized that I had a flair for it. I myself was very surprised that he gave me these copious this copious amount of content and lots and lots of sheets of A4 size paper that had to be crammed into my head, and I did it really fast, and I had a knack of expressing on camera. I gave very fast takes in my first very shoot, and more than that, I was very excited about performing the talk for the camera. I went back to my studies and I forgot all about it. I pocketed the money and I spent it. I don't know what I spent it on, but I enjoyed it. And then suddenly, I don't know from where, my numbers were passed on to Anuradha Prasad of BAG Films, who was then organizing the premiere of a Shah Rukh Khan film for Subhash Ghai. And I was called in to host that. Just out of the workshop, I still don't know how my number got to her and why she chose to call me to do that. But I went ahead, did it. And my very first guest at an event was Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. So my grounding began like from there. You just couldn't make a mistake with a leader of his stature around. And there was, of course, SRK.
Definitely.
So that's where I really started from. And then I don't know yet again how my number reached an agency called Magnum Nexus. And they called me in for an audition for Auto Expo, which till today it is considered one of the most critical and one of the most prestigious, one of the most large format events mounted in India. I got called in for that. I gave an audition. I thought, okay, it's not going to happen. And I got chosen from amongst some of the top names of that time. I went home and I laughed and I told Mom, I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. They picked me for this. But there again, my grounding was superb. The Japanese were very particular about, how the speech content would be designed, how much rehearsals we would have to go through, what was the attire going to be like, how our body language would be, how we would communicate to the audience. So my grounding in my first few events was probably with the best people in the business. And that's where I began. For the first few years, I didn't want to really be a live host. It was an extremely competitive field, and it was very different from the background that I was from. I was brought up in an army background. But then, when you do something well, and you know it in your heart that there is a journey waiting ahead for you, and you can see people enjoying what you do and enjoying the craft that you're sharing with the world, it's something that you can't turn your back on. And I committed myself to it. I went on, and I think I've experienced such joy communicating with my audiences. I've experienced such joy connecting with my audiences. And it's just, it's been wonderful, Akshan, really.
That's an amazing story.
So the thing really here is that I'm an artist who enjoys communicating and connecting with people. It could be through acting, it could be through anchoring, it could be through dance, it could sometimes even be through painting. But the communication, the connection just came very naturally to me from day one. And I think having that naturally within you, and then along the way building on it, and along the way enjoying every moment of communication and connection with people around me really has been the bedrock of, I'd say, the career that I've had.
That's wonderful. And I can totally see that, you enjoying yourself so much on stage while performing for the audience.
A little too much.
But yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I accompanied my father for a major corporate event which you were hosting. And I remember seeing you on stage. And even though there were a lot of executives from around the world present there, when you were delivering your speech, I felt as if you were speaking to me personally. And that was an incredible moment. It was such a powerful moment because I've been to so many live events, but I have never felt this before, that personal touch,
It's so nice that you said this, because this is what I live for. I'm so clear in my head that every single person sitting in my audience should go back with a little memory of mine, and they should be able to recall their interaction with me even years later. That's the goal. So I very clearly remember this day. It's a wonderful event that your father had hosted for global corporate leadership of the company. And I remember you sitting on one of the tables with a friend who was very disinterested in what was happening on stage.
Out of it.
Yeah, you were listening to me, but he wasn't. And see, that's the thing. If I find someone in my audience who's just not tuned in, I have to make sure that I draw him in. And I do so using various techniques during a show. So I remember stepping down from the stage. I remember coming up to both of you, striking up a conversation, first with you and then with him. And I remember breaking down his barrier using, very subtle communication techniques. And by the time I was done with the both of you, you of course were smiling, and so was he. And I had drawn him in, and I think I had his rapt attention after that for the length of the show. So what had I done? I was empathetic to the member of my audience. He could be just having a bad day, or maybe this just wasn't his cup of tea, or maybe he was more interested in what was happening on his BlackBerry. So I was empathetic. I always am. And if you're authentic in terms of that goal of wanting to connect with your audience, you'll go the whole length to make sure that every member of your audience is connected with you. And that's me. I am empathetic to every member of my audience, come whichever region they may be from, whichever strata of society they may be from, whichever gender they may be from. For me, every member of my audience is God. And if they're not tuned in into what I'm doing on stage, I will go down. I will try and break that barrier with empathy. And then I'll be delighted about having done so.
And that's what's amazing about you. And that's why you are. But, I was wondering, watching you on stage, that where were your cue cards? There was no teleprompter, but you were still going on and on as if, it was so natural that you were just addressing your family about some issues. So how do you even do that?
See, Akshan, I often get asked this, that why do you why do you work so hard and prepare so hard to internalize copious amounts of content before going up on stage? And why? There is one explanation, which is that, okay, actors do it in theatre plays and, that's how it works. No, my explanation is another. I am not talking to the audience. I'm having a conversation with the audience. Now, in this conversation that we're having, do you have cue cards? Do you have a teleprompter?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any reference sheets? You're with me. We're connected. That's the reason I don't do it. Somewhere I'm just blessed with memory that, that I can sometimes retain more than 25 pages at a stretch. But for me, I'm so enthused that this conversation is not at any point going to get fake or seem prepared or seem like I'm belting out of it for 1 second and belting back in. No, it's a conversation. We're talking about something. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to make sure you are cued into me, tuned into me, zoned into me every second. If I'm talking to you and I'm going to look down and read out a name or look down and read what my next point is, our connection's gone. So it's that connection that you have to maintain, and it's a huge part of communicating on stage. And these are the various tools that I hope to share with all the people who will choose to come into the Maven Lab.
The depth of knowledge that you have to read and reach people is truly amazing. And every time I met you and spoke to you, I learned something new from you. And that's when I knew that you were the perfect mentor for our communication lab. The unique theme of Hasta Mudras that we're using, which are yogic hand gestures that symbolically represent elements in communication. Only somebody at your level could, do justice to such an intricate and culturally rich theme.
And it helped that I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer too. No, but really, seriously, jokes apart. I've spent the last 22 years, of course, performing, but also honing my skills in communication. I've learned every day. I haven't stopped learning. And that is why this whole experience with you, Akshan, and with Yutika, of putting down these few chapters in print has been two things. One, it's been a wonderful jog down memory lane. And two, I have had the rare experience of translating 22 years of unconscious skill and conscious learning into learning for others out there. This whole process of crystallization has been so churning and so rewarding. And I hope that all of our patrons who will come into the Maven Lab will benefit from my 22 years of learning communication skills.
Thank you very much. They say that communication works for only those that work on it. So everything that you have done, we thank you for it. And it was absolute pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Akshan. And all of you, I'll see you at my communication lab. Communication Unwrapped.